Alright, what's up? We're back with the Red Purple Luffy. Hello, hello. This is Decisive TCG, and I just want to start with the few changes I made from the last. I Everybody was complaining about the law and the BART, which I really liked having searchable for our searchable rampers, the Zoro with the law and the BART. But I also saw where there were some like defensive, maybe I could add some more blockers in and ramp at the same time. So that Brule really helps with like the more aggressive matchups. The only thing is she is a 4 cost, and 4 costs are getting popped left and right. And that's just happened with all my rampers, just depending on the matchup. They get bounced back to hand, so sometimes they're not as useful. But just having the Brule late game versus having the Gene Bart's late game, they're both on 1k counter, but at least I can play the Brule and maybe stall out a couple of turns, or I could play two, at 10 dot, I can play 2 Brules and still have enough for a Gum Gum Giant swing. That's 7k swing if you're ever in a situation or something like that. So the Brules aren't totally dead after you've already hit your 10 dot. So I really like that about her. And then you could either play her and the Onami in one turn. You could, play a Sanji and a Brule, or something, Onami. So Brule kind of added to this, or added to the mix perfectly, a more defensive option I use, as well as switching back to the Namis for the early game, just because she can dig 5 deep in for Zoro. So if I don't have one in my hand, most of the time I can grab what I need, and my 2k blockers. Just definitely a great option for after Yunika. You can grab Sanji and play Sanji out and have a blocker out there as well, while you wait. And that happens in one of our games. But besides that, the list hasn't changed too much. I did go up to another 10 drop Luffy because I definitely don't want 4 and this leader. Like 4 and or PBJ Luffy is awesome, but in Red Purple Luffy, you only doing this when it's time to end the game. Or unless you had like a really healthy, and you can kind of play this because you have no other play. But seeing multiple of these in your hand is not great. You do have ways to filter them out with the and the Onamis and the 0 cost if needed. Rogers are really good options. You really don't even like, it is very good for like you going to 0 and then them having like 1 or 2 lives, but then having blockers kind of crack back and they can't swing. But for the most part, just having that 10k 13 body when you have anything is also great. This is never a bad option. The Blackbeard matchup, dropping him down and swinging into the 12k, you can't give a 1k. Like if I dropped, even if I drop Shanks, so if I drop Shanks down, they can't just give a 1k, they have to give a 2k. But the same thing with the Roger. But you also have that thing where like they are gonna want to try to get rid of Roger, or freeze your Roger over your Shank. So it's a really good option for them to do. And your Newgate, just with this strategy that I have, is like making it very tougher for meta decks to swing into me, by making my leader at 8k, a 7k, a 9k, and making your cards minus 1,000 power. So if you're playing a bunch of weenies, you have to even stack up much more Don on them. So the deck is really good into most of the meta. Now there are some off meta picks that this deck is not really good into, and Betty Battle is one of those decks, and a meta deck that this deck has like a close matchup. If it goes first, is the Dofi. If it goes second, it's more you're more on your back foot because you have to get rid of their bodies. But if you are able to ramp to where they can't hit you or they can't get into that range, by putting your shanks down, putting in your new gate, if you're able to get those bodies down and they're not able to red rock them, then that makes the matchup great. Basically, if they have red rocks, hard to beat them. But if they don't have red rocks, this match doesn't feel like 100% losing. And multiple red rocks, right? Like with one red rocks, you don't feel too bad. They got a shanks, but you play another shanks, and you swing at one of their bodies, so that's not horrible either. Sanji's great for like if you don't get your kid during that turn. He also minuses the Don, so you can get a Don back, and he's good for like resting their blockers. And he's searchable by Nami, so if you don't have any big bodies, which later on when we get that 2K searcher that searches for your big bodies, then the deck becomes a little bit more consistent. You definitely take out the Namis because you can search for your Bond Clays, you can search for your Brûlés, so there's multiple ramps that you can search for. So that makes it, but that's more into the future. As of now, I even played Usopp with this deck, and I was able to win all of those games. Sure, I was playing the same person, but that person's Koa, and he's pretty good. So he really makes it harder for those decks that are like trying to bounce back small bodies or big bodies, or trying to control. It's hard to pop a shank. You can definitely do it, but can you consistently pop these big bodies? And that's what I really like about this deck, and that's why I feel like it's in. But let's go ahead and go into the games, and then afterwards I'll talk about if there's any changes or anything after that. Alright, so I have the first matchup for you, and the mulligan, he chose to go second. I was really looking for Zoro Joro, but couldn't find one. I know if I play this Nami, I'm going to find one. But by then, I think it's too late. But it's still the only. Well, no, we take the 0 cost because it's too late to play the Zoro Joro. So now we're just waiting on him. I think we'll take this. We're gonna drop the blocker down after swinging with 7. He's gonna take. Now he's taken a lot so far. He took his own life, took a hit. And he's at 2 life, which is generally I have like a really aggressive hand. I could play with the Sanji, so I can really try to rush him down. It's always hard to decide how I want to play this matchup. Either play it very slow or play it where I like rush him down. But I'm just trying to decide other things. But we're gonna go swing, leave one up 4, just in case he wants to do something cheeky. And like I take the first hit, and he throws like a lot of down on the second hit. If we get a Gum Giant, always just want to have that Don ready available, especially when you don't want to play the Nami to bottom deck like your big cards. That's the problem. I don't run the Luffy in here, so playing the Nami here would have been great if there were other Straw Hats that I'd like to run on the top end. So I'm gonna be a little aggressive here. I got a 6-7 swing that I'm just trying to get cards out of his hand. He's not gonna take both of these hits. He may take one. But yeah, we'll go ahead and get rid of this blocker. He can't just sit on that. And drop down our blocker to get a bigger hand. We're searching for another big card. The Roger is good, but we just want something to make it harder for him to swing into us. So I prefer to have the shanks, but don't have that. I'm okay to counter with everything in my hand. It really sucks that he had the Raigo so early and got rid of my 7 drop. But we got a big body now to drop besides the Roger. Just makes it harder for us to swing into. Hopefully he gives us a card. Here we're just trying to really get cards, and he gave us a 0 cost. Just for it to die at the end. He's sitting at 2 life, and I'm not feeling very comfortable here in this spot. We have our counters, but we just don't have our big cards. Now with him healing us, getting rid of our big bodies, I'm okay with that. We're gonna swing here, get a card out of his hand. He only has 4. And I really wanted to get rid of that big body. Attacking here wasn't too great, but he countered, so he's really low on hand right now. And that was insane to me. I really wanted to go for game. After that, I only have 3 swings, so I can't go for games, but I do give him all the cards in my hand, including that kid, which I think I could have ended this a lot sooner if I just not did that. But him not being able to protect his big body was what I was thinking about. Having these 2 swings here, because even if I dropped the kid, I wouldn't have been able to swing 13 into him. Get him down to 1, drop a blocker, and pass. This is looking better. He does have 5 cards in hand. I'm only at 1, but I am able to protect my big bodies if he wants to throw all the down on something again. And I do have 3 swings, and he only has 1 life. So as long as he doesn't heal, we can try to get him out of here. This turn, he does have 5 cards, but he could have nothing but big bodies with no counter. As we see now, he drops the ace. And he doesn't decide to swing because he knew I would just block. We get another blocker, which isn't horrible. Right here, I just want to see what he does. If he takes these 3 swings, I think I just give up all my Don, which he does. I give up all my Don. I leave something up for the Onami, and I also wanted to leave something up just in case I got a gum, which I did. So we're sitting pretty. We can protect with our 2 blockers. Is the plan, and then hopefully our gum giant gives us something good with rush, because that's what we're really looking for. We didn't get that, but I do want to drop the kid down. That way, if I do drop a 10 drop, I can protect myself. The kid I really want to get down. It just also makes it harder for him to swing into me. But I'm just looking for big bodies, threats, things that make this go well, and keeping them at 1 life is my goal here. Just because I don't want him popping a 4. So I'm definitely, like, he plays another Yamato, so I definitely have to swing into life. Just don't know how much I want to swing into life. I'm thinking go ahead and give him 12. He has to give me 2k, and I get the free pop just in case that flat has done nothing all game, but he could dog up on it and swing, knowing I don't have so many cards in hand, and we're just really down to the wire here. Late game, play another blocker. Didn't get my kid out, but I was like, I need to protect myself just in case. Doesn't look like he has Rush Enel. but just me taking anything is getting very scary. I do get into Gum Giant, which I like because I'm just searching for those rush cards. And I think again I dropped down this card. I could have just dropped the kid and that, but then I would have to get rid of the Gum Giant. And I'm just very scared. I was very scared because I just didn't have the cards that I was looking for. And we finally got him. We got the blocker out of there, so we don't need to swing it anymore. And he gets another Rygo. This is getting tough. Gum Giant will get me out of this. And we get another Gum Giant. Luckily, he didn't swing. Well, I have all the blockers in the world, so I got big bodies, but I'm just sitting here thinking he only has 2 cards in hand. So I do a 6 swing. He blocks everything out, and I still need to hit him 3 times with just that 6 Dom, right? Because if I were gonna drop Roger or anything, I would have had to swing that 6. But now I'm like, bam, 5 equally. He has to draw the card and pitch the card, so to get the leader effect. So another 5 swing will get that, and then a 7 swing for math game. This was a really good match. Really tough. Enels are always a tough. That's why they are the cockroach deck, because they can always go extra. Okay, so now we're going with the Blackbeard matchup, and these are some ranked games, testing out this build. Now, we do get the Zoro, which we like to see in this matchup. The only thing is, this Blackbeards play a lot of pops that can easily get rid of the Zoro. But if they use that to get rid of the Zoro, their minuses and stuff that they would normally use, and seeing the dot Q is also not great. But that's why I go ahead and, instead of playing the Zoro like I would like to, I play the Brew layout, because if they do drop the well down and then dot Q, at least I'll get some down out of it. But the Liberation Town, and that's what we knew was coming our way. Negate the effect, KO it. So you don't even get your own KO effects. I'm trying to decide if I want to take this, if I want to give him a 2K, or do I want to give him that Zoro. Just afraid with that dot Q. I decided to go ahead and take it. See if I can find some better options. If I was able to find a Bond Clay, that would have been very nice right here. Just to punish him for not using his leader effect. But we weren't able to, so now we make him play a minus card down and kill our Zoro. If he doesn't have one, I mean he has a lot of cards in hand, so I'm not expecting the Zoro to live. I'm just expecting to do my 1 rep and hopefully get there that way, get ahead of him that way. He goes and he swings at us again, leaving a lot of down up, 5 down exact, so he can -3 and get that free pop. And now we get the Bond Clay, of course. He does his leader effect. I'm going to go ahead and go 1 over just to get that minus out of the way. This does give him a card, but he counters, which was interesting. But now when I play the kid, it's less likely to survive because I couldn't get rid of that auger. But I did need to play something and hope that he just doesn't have it. So immediately -3, and we get another Liberation. which really sucks because Kid is I want to say like the key point of this deck. He's the reason why I'm able to play these 10 costs and still be able to do my leader effects effectively. So just seeing him go out as soon as he's played really hurts. But he hasn't really done that much searching this round, so I don't know exactly where I stand at. We both taking a hit. We go to 10 Dawn next turn, so I can definitely get my Shanks out before he can get his Blackbeard out. And that's good because now we get to swing into the Van Augur, you know, and force out more. And we're gonna go ahead and give him another card because we do want to put the pressure out on him to make him put out this Blackbeard. Even if we can next turn get him to block with a Blackbeard, get him to block, and then we can swing a Roger into him just to establish another big body. Just try to defend ourselves and establish big bodies. We see he doesn't have any minus for that pistol gun. They do nullify the effects, which makes his Jesus, you know, hit a lot harder. He swings the 5, maybe hoping to bait out a card, and we have an easy 2K for now to block out of that. He hasn't really filled his trash up too much, and yeah, I think right now we get rid of the Jesus before it's a problem is the hope. This is a block in a 2K, but I don't think he doesn't have enough cards in hand to do that. So now we have 2 big bodies on the field, which puts us in a great position because if he drops another teach, he can only stop 1 from attacking, and then we have another big body to play right after that. He has 3 cards in hand, and yep, he pitches for leader, being 2. So if it is a Blackbeard, he only has 1 card in hand, but it's a Jesus instead, and a blocker. That really sucks because I have to take this. Getting the Gum Giant is great, but unless I just play Newgate, I won't be able to use that Gum Giant. He does have a lot of bodies on the field. As much as I would love to play the Shanks and just make it harder for him to block out, I see that he has no free blocks and he has no cards in hand. This is hard to say. I can defense up. I think is the better play here. Drop a blocker to keep my big bodies alive and leave something up for Gum Giant. But for sure, we want to swing at him. Hopefully, get him down to 1. Swing big enough, the 12. So I was trying to do the math. I was like, can I do a blocker and Gum Giant? Swing the 12. There's maybe 6 cards. Well, 11 cards. It's all I needed. 12, I guess, to guarantee a card out of his hand. But we got rid of the teach. We're able to drop a blocker down. That Shanks is just so good because it gives you so much value. It's almost like adding a Don to all your characters. So he chooses the Roger, which rightfully so, because if I did go to 0 and then defended everything, which is another thing I could have done, and played another Roger, but that would have been a little bit too risky. We get out of there, we get more cards, and then I'll try to decide where I go from here. He does the leader effect again, so I can just drop one of these rush down, or I can play a little bit more defensive. I think if I drop the Shanks, I might as well drop it early. But I was looking, he has no cards in hand, so if I should have swung at the Burgess for sure, that would have guaranteed one of his bodies dying. But I think I wanted to go for game, which again I can't because he has that blocker. But I can't put him at 0, so we'll see if he wants to block here if he goes down to 0. And I do have another rush, so not only did he block, but not only did he block, but he also gave us a card, which means if I do drop a 10 drop body, just doing the math, I'm like, it's hard, right? I don't have a Gum Giant. I do have a good chunk of counter in hand. What is that? 9, 4, and 5. I mean, oh no, so that put me at 10. I did the Roger, which I think in hindsight maybe the Shanks would have been a better option because it would have helped my counter out, right? I think Shanks would have definitely been better here. Just giving him another minus 1,000. He had no cards in hand, and I can guarantee getting rid of him. But yeah, we wanted to get rid of that blocker because the Jesus wasn't bigger than the Blackbeard yet. He's close. He's definitely close, and with him trashing these cards, he's getting even closer now. I'm just looking for how many liberations does he have, how many finger pistols does he have in trash, and just seeing, because my guess would be he's fishing to pop that Brule blocker. But he throws a lot of Dawn onto him for just a 1K, which we have. And now he would have to hit me twice with a blocker up. But I had the counter, so we'll go ahead and counter. And we go to 0. That way, and he knows this game from there. Man, these slower matchups are such a hard on the heart. Alright, so now we have the mirror match. This is the 50-50, just who has a better deck, or who has a better playstyle, or who's lucky. And it looks like I am, because I didn't have the Zoro, but now I have a really good starting hand. The only thing I don't have is a big body. But yeah, everything was looking great for me. He passes with nothing to do on his 10 on a turn. He swings 7 at me, which means he has a Zoro himself. I want to stay particularly healthy in this matchup. I feel like we're going to rush each other down, and maybe the one who's a little bit more defensive can win. It can also be a detriment, because if I don't have any cards in hand for the late game, then he wins. But definitely get a 1K and then maybe a 2K out of his hand. He's thinking. Yeah, he definitely doesn't want to go down to 1. That's just the thing. So he swings into the Zoro. I give him a Zoro because, like I said, I'm defending my life, and if I make him swing into that body, which he's definitely gonna want to do, he got rid of both my bodies here. But I'm at a good 10 Dawn. This would have been perfect. Like if I dropped the Shanks, it really helps in my favor, but I don't have anything. So we do grab the 10 cost, and I'm like, he's at 2 life 5 cards. So if I can get him to go down anything here, and I'd bait here with the Nami. I probably should have swung with the Nami first before playing the Nami, just to see if I can get a card out of his hand. But I think he knows I have the 10 drop in my hand, so he's just gonna let it go. Again, maybe I should have swung with the Luffy first. Maybe he would either taken a counter. I'm guessing he would have countered regardless. Yeah, because he's not really, and he didn't counter, which was surprising to me. But he knew 2 cards or 2 swings were coming. So if I would have possibly waited, maybe I could have baited a rush or something like that. He goes for my board. I want to have as many swings as possible, and again, for him not to go at my life. For the whenever I drop this Gum Giant, which is looking like my only play at the moment. He drops a blocker down. Very good defensive, and yeah, I have nothing to do but to drop this 10 drop down. Hopefully I draw into, well, I don't want to draw into any of my big bodies. It does suck that the Usopp came down, because I can only get a 1K from him, but I am going to get a card and a life. I did not expect that. That really threw me off. So something scared me. He had the 1 down up, so I didn't want to just go full 10-12 like I normally do, because he has a block and has a Gum. So, and with the Gum and just 1 card, he can definitely win. So I'm searching for my own blocker that I can play. Now that I found that blocker, if I didn't find the blocker, I would swung 9. He just Gum Giant. Whatever I swung into. But now we get the blocker here, and we'll play down the Zoro. The Zoro. No, the Zoro Sanji. We play down the Sanji blocker, and now we're just hoping he doesn't have enough math to take out the cards on my, take out my life. I know if he swings 3 at life, he doesn't win. But I was thinking here, after taking this one, I was like, wait a minute, if I don't start blocking, he may be able to drop like a Roger on me, and then the Roger, like, if I block, then I lose. So like, let me go ahead and counter out as many as possible. And he drops a Whitebeard instead, and I have enough counter just to take that. And now we're just gonna try to go for game. He has 5 cards in hand. We get some extra Don here with our leader effect. We'll swing the 12, and just doing the math there, that's the Gum Giant plus a card, and he just decides to scoop here. Possibly no, I had way too much Don for him. So those were the best games that I played. Now there were some games that were like some new players, games where I got countered, maybe like with Betty or something like that. Didn't really want to show those if it wasn't really a good match. But so far I'm liking the list. I don't know what I would change from it. I do know what I would want to fit in, and that would be Dragon is definitely a good offensive pick, and also later down the line when the EV cards come out, So when this card comes out and you're at 10 dons, but you only have like an 8, you have 8 cards, you can play this and an 8 card and then be able to search for your future for your next turn. So I'm really thinking about putting some 8 costs in for now, just fill that void, or not fill that void, or these are cards that I definitely would want to put in there. Rayleigh is the Dofi killer, because it really makes like 2 of their cards, 2 or 3 of their cards, like pop 1 and then minus 2 other cards or something like that. Rayleigh definitely puts in a lot of work for the 8 Don. Just doesn't have the rush or the ramp that really fits this deck, but this is really a good option. This really helps with defense. It's like a defensive card, and it heals you, and it takes a card off of their field. It heals them as well, but if you can take something that's been poking at you, or maybe like a Sanguro that next turn will swing and draw them a card, it is better to go ahead and just give them that life and gain a life, just to put yourself less out of pressure. That one's great. This Luffy, I'm not a big fan of this Luffy, but the fact that it is searchable by Nami, and there are plenty of times where I need a card that's high end, but most of my high end searchable. This is definitely a good option, as well as a card that I used to run back in 05. This Luffy as well. He's a good 10 Don alternative. Roger took the place of him, because yes, you're KOing a body, that's 8,000 they block, which is very nice, but Roger just wins you the game. So that, you know, Roger is a better choice, and Roger has what, 1,000 more life, attack, 1,000 more power, sorry. So it took the place of it. I would love for this to come back more, maybe like in a more control version deck where I'm like going for the bodies. I can see that, but this one, yeah, Roger just took his place, and then Kaido again for another control. Like, you're able to pop some bodies, is not horrible. So these are like cards I would consider, but so far they can never make that cut. You guys let me know what you think, and just don't, throw this card in. Tell me why. Express yourself, because I would love to know why. I would love to get behind the psyche, because if I'm not thinking the same way you're thinking, I will probably never understand why you would. So if you could just explain it, like, hey, throw this in because you can hit such and such and such and such, and I agree with that, I fall in line with it, I definitely put it in, even throw out a shout out. But I want to thank you guys for watching. If you got this far, if you skipped through, you're here now. But we're out.